Most guys try to win a woman over with expensive gifts, good looks, or smooth lines, and that's exactly why they fade into the background the second they're out of sight. But a rare kind of man sees further than that. He understands something a little colder, something 99% of men will never grasp. The goal isn't to be liked. It's to be impossible to forget. Not by making her feel good every second you're around, but by owning the way she feels when you're not. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 9 dark psychological principles pulled straight from Machiavelli's playbook, updated for today. None of them require a single word of cheap flattery. No chasing, no performing like a clown, no pleading for her to love you. You're about to learn how to become the guy she can't quite figure out, yet can't get out of her head either. Pay attention, because once these click into place, you'll never date like the average guy again. 1. Why fear beats love every time. There's a Machiavelli quote most men scroll past because it feels too harsh. It is much safer to be feared than loved. At first it sounds evil, something only a bad guy would live by. But stop listening to what people say and start watching what they actually do. Watch how women act around different kinds of men, and that quote suddenly feels obvious. Love is warm, comforting, soft. It's what we all say we want. But when love is constant, always available, always gentle, it starts to feel ordinary. It becomes wallpaper. Safe, sure, but also easy to ignore. That's where most men mess up. They think if they just love harder, give more, open up more, she'll finally see how special it is. Instead, she feels less and less. Anything handed out for free, without any risk or challenge, loses its magic. Now bring in fear, not the abusive kind, not yelling, not controlling her life. That's just weakness dressed up as strength, and women spot it a mile away. Real fear is quieter. It's a man with boundaries so solid she can feel them without him ever raising his voice. He doesn't chase. He doesn't explain why he's hurt. He doesn't beg her to stay. He simply steps back and lets the silence do the teaching. That absence hits her harder than any screaming match ever could. The second she realizes he's actually willing to walk, everything shifts. She understands he won't bend his rules just to keep her around. Cross him once, and she risks losing him for good. That's when regular attraction turns into obsession. Not because he showered her with more love, but because he was willing to give zero when his standards were disrespected. That's the fear. Not fear of the man himself, but fear of losing a man she can't control. Deep down, most women aren't obsessed with being loved. They're obsessed with a man who doesn't need their love to feel whole. That's why they chase the guy who walks away without drama. That's why they respect the one who never folds. That's why they can't stop thinking about the one who never begged. He wasn't cruel. He just had standards that weren't negotiable. So when Machiavelli said it's safer to be feared than loved, he wasn't telling you to give up love. He was telling you respect has to come first. Without the possibility of loss, love gets lazy. The strongest desire doesn't come from what you give. It comes from what you're willing to take away the moment it's not valued. Remember, she can love you and still replace you tomorrow. But if she truly fears losing you, If she knows you won't stay anywhere you're not respected, you'll never have to beg for her attention again. She'll be the one working to keep yours. That's not cruelty. That's gravity. 2. Master the image. Machiavelli dropped another brutal truth. Men judge more by their eyes than by their hands. Translation: it doesn't matter how good you actually are if you don't look the part. We were all raised on the fairy tale that if you're kind, honest, loyal, and hard-working, the world will reward you. Women will line up. Reality doesn't care about your report card. The world judges the cover first. You can be the most loyal, intelligent, high-value guy on earth, but if you walk in with slumped shoulders, a nervous voice, needy energy, no one feels it, especially not a woman. Female attraction starts with feeling, not facts. She doesn't care about your resume. She cares about the vibe you give off when you enter a room. This isn't about faking an entire personality. It's about framing. People don't respond to objective truth. They respond to what feels true. If you don't control the frame, her mood, her past, her friends will do it for you. In practice, when you feel unsure, stand like a man who's certain. When you're angry, speak like a man who owns the fire, not the other way around. When you want to text her 10 times, do nothing. Let her come to you. Power lives in stillness. Attraction lives in mystery. Show her 80% of you and keep the rest locked behind your eyes. Let her imagination do the heavy lifting, because what she invents about you will always be stronger than anything you could explain. Stop oversharing. Stop trying to be fully understood. Start curating the image. In a world run by perception, image isn't everything. It's the only thing. 3. Be both the lion and the fox. Every woman is going to test you. Not because she's evil, but because she needs to know if you'll crack under pressure. She'll go hot and cold, change her tone, pull away, say one thing, and do another. Most guys have no idea it's a test. They think she's just moody, so they apologize, explain, try to fix it with words, and just like that, the frame is gone. Machiavelli gave the answer 500 years ago. A prince must imitate both the lion and the fox. The lion sucks raw strength. He doesn't chase, doesn't explain, doesn't negotiate his worth. He commands respect with presence and silence. The fox hunts cunning. He never takes the bait, never shows his full hand, watches everything, strikes only when the moment is perfect. If you're only the lion, loud, forceful, direct, she'll keep poking until you explode and suddenly you look unstable. If you're only the fox, smooth, calm, always calculating, she'll like the charm, but never feel your backbone. But when she sees strength in your silence and intelligence in your calm, she can't predict you anymore. That unpredictability is what hooks her deeper than any sweet talk ever could. When she's emotional, be the fox. Watch, stay untouched. When she crosses a real boundary, be the lion, not angry, just unmoving. A quiet presence that says, this far and no further. That's the man she respects, because he doesn't flinch and doesn't need to explain why. 4. Divide her world. Machiavelli's oldest law, divide and conquer. It works on battlefields, and it works inside one woman's mind. You don't control her by arguing or forcing. You plant a tiny seed of doubt and let her own brain do the rest. She says, I can't stand jealous guys. You smile, relaxed, almost amused, and reply, "That's what you tell yourself." Then nothing else. One little sentence. No lecture, no debate. Suddenly there's a crack in the foundation. Her mind starts spinning. Wait, what did he mean? Do I actually hate it? Or do I just say that? Why is that stuck in my head? You didn't fight her belief. You just nudged it. Now she's arguing with herself, and you're the guy who started the argument without lifting a finger. Tension, certainty. Curiosity, comfort. That's how you slip past her defenses. 5. Reward slowly, punish instantly. Machiavelli, injuries should be done all at once, but benefits little by little. Translation for dating. When she disrespects a boundary, you don't argue, you don't talk it out, you don't guilt trip. You withdraw completely, cold, clean, no warning. Silence. Distance. Gone. She's left staring at her phone, wondering if you're ever coming back. That hurts way more than yelling because there's nothing to fight against. Then, when she earns her way back in, when she's sweet and respectful again, you give her a tiny reward, a glance, a half smile, one sincere compliment, then back to calm. Never flood her with affection. You keep her nervous system on edge like a slot machine. She never knows exactly when the next hit of you is coming, so she keeps pulling the lever. Most guys do the opposite. They punish slowly, nagging, sulking, and reward too fast, showering her the second she's nice again. Predictable and boring. One sharp punishment, plus slow, sporadic rewards. Addiction. 6. Watch her, then say the one-line average guys stare at her body. The rare guy watches her behavior. He notices how her voice changes when she's around a man she respects versus one she's playing. He sees the mask drop for half a second. He stays quiet. Then, at the perfect moment, he drops one calm observation. You laugh differently when you're nervous. Your energy shifts when he walks in. No judgment, no smirk, just a mirror. That single line lands like a bullet because it's true, and nobody else ever dared say it. Suddenly she feels seen on a level that scares her a little. She'll replay that sentence for weeks. That's how you move from "he's cute" to "who the hell is this guy?" 7. Control through absence. If you're always there, always replying in seconds, always available, you become furniture. Furniture gets taken for granted. But when you vanish, no warning, no dramatic "I'm done" text, just radio silence after your presence was strong, her mind goes into overdrive. She replays everything, looks for clues, starts imagining versions of you that are bigger, colder, more powerful than reality. You're not punishing her. You're creating a vacuum, and nature hates a vacuum. When you come back calm and unbothered, she greets you with a mix of relief and fear, because now she knows you can disappear anytime and you won't lose sleep over it. That's power. 8. Be her turning point. Women forget boyfriends. They never forget the man who changed the way they see themselves. Be the first guy who actually walked when she crossed a line. Be the first one who looked her in the eye and named something she was hiding from everyone, not to hurt her, but because you saw it. Be the one who made her question beliefs she thought were rock solid, then disappear cleanly. Not angry, not begging, just gone. Years later, she might not remember your last name, but she'll remember the version of herself that woke up after meeting you. That's permanent real estate in her head. 9. Final words. These aren't pickup lines. They're not tricks. They're psychological architecture designed to flip hidden switches in her brain from "I'm in control" to "I need to know what happens next with this guy." Most men spend their lives performing for crumbs of attention. You're done with that. You're learning how to create gravity instead of chasing approval. If something in your chest just tightened while reading this, if a deeper part of you woke up and said, "Finally," then this wasn't just a post. This was recognition. You're ready to stop begging for love and start building the kind of presence that pulls people toward you whether you speak or not. So if this hits you hard, drop one word in the comments: control. Nothing else. It lets me know you're not here for entertainment. You're here to take the wheel. And if you want the next level, the deeper layers, the stuff that turns you into the man who doesn't need to win anyone, because people orbit him naturally, stay close. What's coming next isn't about getting the girl. It's about becoming the man who no longer needs to.